Foreign policy. Back when the US declared independence in 1776, the US had a neutral foreign policy. The idea was that if a war broke out, the US should maintain neutral, and in peacetime, the US should be political isolated, isolated itself from the European powers. Some years before the Declaration of Independence, Benjamin Franklin wrote, "A virgin state should preserve its virgin character and not go soldiering for alliances, but wait with the decent dignity for the application of others." This quotation describes the first 50 years or so of virgin policy in the US. Also, the first president of the US, George Washington, said, "The great rule of conduct for us in reject to foreign nations is to have with them as little political as distinctive from commercial connection as possible," which basically means that the US had to be independent politically as they could.
Today, the foreign policy agenda of the Department of State are to build and sustain a more democratic, secure, and prosperous world of benefit of the United States of American people and the international community, which means the US government wants to create a democratic world where everyone can feel free and feel safe. No one lives under the poverty line, but they do not do this for free. The actions they make has to benefit the American people, not necessarily economically, but it can also be in a human perspective, like the wars in Afghanistan or Iraq, which both is a part of the American War on Terror program that is created so that the American people do not have to feel afraid of terror and therefore can basically feel free.
The major themes in US foreign policy today are becoming an empire of liberty, promoting democracy, expanding across the continent, supporting liberal internationalism, contesting world wars and the Cold War, fighting international terrorism, developing or exploding the third world, and building a strong world economy. The foreign policy in the US has changed a lot.
In relation to Russia, Donald Trump is eager to create a new, better relationship with Russia and Putin. Donald Trump has floated the idea of creating a new alliance with Russia, saying a new relationship with Russia is necessary because its tensions in Syria and elsewhere. Hillary Clinton has a slightly more complicated relationship with Russia and Putin, and do not have any intentions to make it better. She has said that he has no brain back in 2008. And it does not seem to the relationship has improved since. When we talk about immigration from Mexico, would Donald Trump stop all immigration? He wants to build a wall on the border between Mexico and the United States. Trump says that the immigrants from Mexico are drugs and crime to the United States, and they are taking the working class jobs. In relation to immigration from Mexico, is Hillary Clinton more willing to help those who come from Mexico than Donald Trump is? Donald Trump is a little against that they are in war in Iraq. He thinks that it was a big mistake that George Bush declared the war in Iraq in 2003. Hillary Clinton is for the United States, is in the war in Iraq. She says that they are forced to prepare the soldiers on everything so they can make Iraq a free country. Trump is also against outsourcing because then the working class will lose their jobs.
Donald Trump is suspected of having close ties to the Russian president Vladimir Putin. Putin has actually endorsed Trump, and at a press conference he said, "It's not our job to judge his qualities. That's the job for American voters. But he's the absolute leader in the presidential race," which is quite rare. Such big leaders, public shows their support when it comes to foreign elections. Trump also showed his support to Putin in a speech where he said about Putin, "He has been a leader far more than our president has been a leader."
Hillary Clinton is considered something of a hawk when it comes to foreign policy. This means that Hillary Clinton wants to wage war from day one as president. This might have something to do with the fact that Clinton has been criticized for denying additional security to the consulate in Benghazi in Libya during the attack in September 2012. And Hillary Clinton, in her role as Secretary of State, subsequently took responsibility for the security lapses.